Big one tonight. Big one tonight. Like 2.5 hours away from important one. Two teams fighting it out for a wild card berth. With the way things are breaking in the NFL, honestly, I think there's a pretty good chance both teams make the wild card no matter what happens in this game. But uh, it's a pretty big deal. The Minnesota Vikings are heading up to Seattle to play the Seahawks, and well, I don't know how to feel about this one. This one has me confused maybe more than any game this season because you guys might remember I was high on the Vikings in the preseason. Before the season started, I thought the Vikings had a chance to be a 13-14 win team, and it just didn't happen. I had no idea. I had no idea the offensive line was that bad. Every time I watch them, like I remember the Bears game, the Packers games. Every time I see him, Kirk Cousins is getting put on his back over and over and over. They still play good, they still score points, but I did not think the offensive line was going to be that big of a problem this year. So there you have it. Other than that, I think they're doing just about everything right on that team. I know some people have been critical of Kirk Cousins a little bit, saying that he's part of the problem. Um, Maybe he's not worth everything they paid him, but that's a good quarterback. That's the kind of money you have to pay to get a good quarterback when you can't draft one. And to me, I can't really put anything that's happening this season on him because I don't think very many quarterbacks could play behind that offensive line. I mean, I know bad offensive lines, guys. I know bad offensive lines. I've spent the last few years watching the Tom Cable Seahawks offensive lines. Vikings offensive line is about as bad as some of those. So I'm not going to say it's worse, but it's right down there. I remember earlier in this season, like Cousins was getting hit an average of 15 or 16 times a game. So that is the thing that is holding them back, and that's what we can use to give ourselves an opportunity to win this game because nothing else about this game feels great to me. For starters, we got Fluker. He's not going to play, I'm sure. He's doubtful, but he's not playing. Let's be real. KJ Wright is out, but we kind of expect that at this point. It, hurts our ability to stop the run. Doug Baldwin still questionable, did not practice all week. I think he's going to play, but I don't feel great about it. And it's just, it's what it is, guys. It was his knees. Then it was his groin. Now it's his hip. So it's just what it is with the Doug Baldwin thing. He's never going to be really 100% this season, and hopefully he will be next year. And Rashad Penny didn't practice all week, finally practiced on Saturday. Actually, excuse me. He didn't practice Thursday or Friday, practice Saturday. Questionable. So that's not my favorite thing either because Penny's just starting to figure it out. And now we got to deal with this shit. So, um, you have all that. I mean, I looked at the Vikings injury report. The only name that I saw that was out is Trey Waynes, cornerback. So they're relatively healthy right now, as much as they can expect. And look, our defense, I got comments last week, and I get it. I got comments last week that were saying, like, hey, our defense gave up 400 passing yards to Nick Mullins. What the hell? We got destroyed by Dante Pettis and George Kittle. And, it's true, but to me, it's like, our defense isn't that great, guys. Secret's out. Our defense has problems. Our defense got lit up by the Panthers. I think the Chargers did some damage against us, although they didn't rack up a ton of yards. Our defense isn't very good. Secret's out. I'm just happy that they're finding a way to keep points off the board. The fact that they killed some scoring drives before they got into the end zone against the Panthers. The fact that we had the 2 red zone turnovers against the 49ers, and that we were able to keep this score down even if we weren't really able to consistently stop the other team. We did that against the Chargers, too. Even though I feel like our defense was getting beat up a little bit in that game, we were able to do enough to keep them from scoring enough to put us away until the game was literally over. So I can't hold this defense to the same standard as I do the Legion of Boom defenses, and I know it's frustrating. I understand that. Shaquille Griffin is not playing very good football the last month or two, maybe. Um, we all have to put up with Trey Flowers, going through his rookie lumps. And honestly, I think he's still doing pretty good, but he does take those rookie lumps sometimes. Pass rush, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. On the whole, it's a very middling pass rush that is not moving the needle enough for our team. But I kind of resign myself to the fact that we have a defense that is going to give up yards. We're not tackling as well as we have in years past. The personnel isn't as good. The guys who we have up there to stuff the run are just not as good as the guys we used to have up there. So I understand why a lot of Seahawks fans were like, oh my God, we got destroyed by Nick Mullins and the 49ers pass offense. But I don't know. I'm kind of letting that one slide a little bit, but mostly it's just because I get it. This defense isn't that good, but as long as this defense can keep the opposing teams from scoring a ton of points, which honestly this season they've done most games. They didn't do it against the Rams, but I understand the Rams offense is something a little different. I'm going to go ahead and live with it. So, I expect that our defense is going to have problems matching up against Minnesota wide receivers. I mean, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen. Oh my God, I think both those guys are fantastic. I love both those guys. Diggs, supremely talented. He's just waiting, in my opinion, to have a season like DeAndre Hopkins has had. And Adam Thielen, how do you not love Adam Thielen? He's the next Doug Baldwin, and he might be better than Doug Baldwin ever was. So, but he's cut from the same cloth. Undrafted free agent, comes out of nowhere, and suddenly he's a superstar. And Laquan Treadwell, talented, not totally getting it yet, but talented. We don't have the secondary to match up with those receivers. We know that they can run the ball with Cook, and I think his name is Latavius Murray. So the Vikings have the skill position players to give us a headache. So, as always, it's all on this pass rush. Frank Clark, Dion Jordan, Jerron Reed, Bobby Wagner on the blitz, whatever the hell it has to be. We need to get pressure on Kirk Cousins. We need to bring him down because this team will get beat in the secondary and in run defense quite a few times tonight. I'm sure of that. So I need to see that pass rush take advantage of a bad Minnesota offensive line. That's really all it is to me. And when we have the ball, okay, we didn't have DJ Fluker when we played the Rams in Los Angeles, and we ran the ball for almost 300 yards in that game. So we can do it. I understand. DJ Fluker is not, the magic pill that gets shoved into this offense that just allows us to, run the ball up and down the field, and when we pull him out, we can't do anything. I understand that. But there has been a pretty strong correlation between Fluker playing in the game and our offense's ability to function the way we want it to. And Fluker might be out a while, guys. I did not like the way Pete Carroll was phrasing things when he was talking about Fluker. I did not like the way the team is discussing his future in terms of this season. It just sounded bad. So we may need to prepare for life without DJ Fluker for a little while. We know we're not going to have him tonight, in my opinion, anyway. There's no way he plays. So to me, the concern is that. The concern is Rashad Penny not being questionable for tonight. And if we cannot run the ball, because Minnesota, they've got talented guys on that defense. I know there have been games this year where they haven't played great. I think they've gotten a little better as the season has gone on. But, they've got Sheldon Richardson. I know how good that guy is. Sheldon Richardson, great player. They've got Harrison Smith, great safety. Xavier Rhodes, he didn't impress me a ton earlier this year, but last year he was a great cornerback. Can we produce if things aren't going according to plan? Because, look, I'm not going to act like this offense has no chance of running the ball without Fluker, but it's harder. So we saw it a few weeks ago against the Carolina Panthers. That game, we couldn't run the ball. We just couldn't get it going. Carson Penny, Davis, a yard in a cloud of dust all day long. We found a way to win anyway, but now we see what Carolina's doing. Carolina has completely quit on this season. Okay, no, let me take that back. They haven't quit on the season. They're losing close games. They're not playing well. Their defense has gone to shit. They're giving up big plays left and right. They're getting no pressure on the quarterback. So now, you know, it still matters that we did that we were able to beat Carolina in Carolina. I don't want to completely get away from that, but I recognize that that Panthers team is not as good as I thought they were when we played them. So every week's a new challenge, and this one should be a bigger one because this Vikings defense has some guys who can make our lives miserable. I was hoping we would have Fluker out there to handle Sheldon Richardson. I was hoping that, we have all our running backs ready to go. And now I'm like, okay, Russell, I know he can do it. I know he can carry the team on days where the run attack isn't effective. We saw it, like I said, against the Panthers, but then again, we didn't see it against the Chargers. And you want to throw the Bears game in there, maybe you can do that as well. So what are we going to get tonight? Because once again, unfortunately, I have to look at this team's situation and go, we might not be able to do everything that we want to do tonight. I know we want to get out there and run the ball for 250 yards. I know we did it without Fluker against the Rams, but it's tough for me to believe we can just do that every week because Fluker makes a difference. And even though we ran the ball well against the Rams without Fluker, it seemed like the pass protection was breaking down a little bit without him out there. And last week against the 49ers, after Fluker left, I think Wilson got sacked like twice in the next 4 or 5 plays. I could be wrong, but I know he got sacked a couple times in a late game drive against the Niners after Fluker left. So to me, that has me concerned about tonight. But it's at home. I think we can win. I think we can do this. If we win tonight, things look really good for our chances. We lose, we can bounce back. It's okay. But obviously, you just want to get out of there with the win no matter what the circumstances are. So let's get after Kirk Cousins because if we give him time back there, he's going to eat us alive. He's a good enough quarterback to do that. And offensively, if it has to be the Russell Wilson show, then he needs to deliver. All right. Peace out. Go Hawks. I'll make a video after the game, whatever happens, and see you guys later.